Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of BPM. I am joined today by two lovely guests, so let's get right into the roster. I am Blaine, a.k.a. Papa Bear. To my left is Jan, the photographer.
Hello.
And to my right, I have Blake and Dave, the musicians. How are you guys doing today?
Good, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. And how are you?
I'm great, man.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. So our special slogan for the day is, I better protect myself. Ow. Ow. Which I did not do, and I just took the hits willingly like a man. Anyway. But Blake and Dave are from the band Playing with Giants. We have them joining us today. So Blake, Dave, you guys want to tell us a little bit about yourselves and Playing with Giants?
Yeah, I can do that. I sing, and he plays drums.
And what kind of music do you guys play?
It's kind of, I guess it would be a little bit more of like an alternative music, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to put a pin on it.
You guys have a very dynamic kind of a sound to it. It kind of sits into that alternative. It kind of sits a little poppy sometimes. A little funk sometimes, and some blues. Yeah. You guys are really like a different style than what we normally would do on here, because a lot of the times people are like, hey, Blaine, you're the metal and punk guy. But I think people don't realize that it's like, I enjoy all types of music.
Yeah.
I know that I've worked with you guys in the past. We had a fun show at the Parkade, and then I've also seen you guys at a couple of events as well. I don't think you were in it at that time, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with some new blood joining into the group, so that's always fantastic to see bands grow and get new members in there. But we've had some fun with, what was the name of that pizza place that's in downtown Kennewick?
Fourth Base Pizza.
Fourth Base Pizza.
Yes.
I've seen you guys there. I've seen you at the Parkade. I've seen you at the Emerald of Siam. So, I mean, you guys have just kind of just play everywhere and anywhere that you guys can get your hands on for the most part.
Yeah. The last couple of years, we've played a lot of different shows in a lot of different places. Like, not just locally. Like, we travel a lot, too.
Yeah. How far have you guys gotten out to?
Right now, it's Washington and Oregon.
Washington and Oregon.
But we're hoping that once things start to open up a little bit more, hopefully soon we can start traveling to other areas like California, stuff like that. I think Utah and California would accept our music heavily. Mm-hmm. So
it's definitely got that more vibe that you can kind of like groove with or have fun with and get up and dance to.
Which Bohemian indie vibe, I can see it.
Yeah.
Getting
out there where people want to kind of like get out and just have some fun at like the beach fires and stuff like that. You guys would definitely like groove right into that.
Yeah.
If I could dance, I would dance to Playing with Giants. But I can't dance.
I can't dance, and I did. What is the name of that song? I believe you told me when we were at the Parkade that it was about donuts. Which one was that?
Donuts?
I want to swear that you told me that there was a song about donuts, and I just remember that the song was so catchy and groovy, and I was like, this is a fantastic song. And I thought you told me that it was about donuts.
Did I tell you it was about donuts?
Maybe you told me it was
I may
about
have said
donuts.
it was about
donuts.
donuts.
I don't fucking know. We might have been hungry. But
It couldn't have been me. I don't write music about objects
it's all good.
that I want to eat. Like, I'd be eating more than I would be writing if that was the case.
Yeah,
When
that's
it comes to
fair.
donuts, because I love donuts.
Maybe it's like,
amazing.
donuts. You write a song about donuts, about that hole inside yourself, your doughy self.
That's a good idea. That's true. I could totally do that. Like,
Use the algorithm of like the empty hole inside us and how we fill it.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Protect that hole, am I right?
Dear diary, mood apathetic. I feel so whole today. I need a donut.
It'll be a very wholesome song.
Yes, it'll be very wholesome. Yes.
Oh my god.
We don't need to sugarcoat things here.
Yes, we do.
This is gonna be a whole
maple bars for days
This is going to be a whole pun-filled
with
podcast.
bacon.
Bacon?
Bacon maple bars.
Bacon maple donuts.
I want to write a song about it right now.
That is so violently American, I'm going to puke.
I had one of the worst experiences with bacon in my entire life, and I don't eat it now.
What happened?
I got salmonella poisoning.
Ooh.
And I
okay, that would do it.
3 days. Well, and I have gallbladder issues as it is. So for 3 days, on top of having salmonella poisoning, my gallbladder was also in sheer pain.
Yes. That's no fun.
I was in labor for 3 days. Like, that's what it felt like.
So there you go. You can write like a happy song about donuts and then like a really sad song about bacon.
It'd just be like, bacon tore my shit up.
What about you? You got any bacon stories you want to throw in there? We'll accept non-bacon, too.
I do love pork.
I'm not going to say it.
You can say it. Johnny Mango's the shit. Let me hear it.
Well, enough about the Portland Police Department.
Ooh.
Okay.
He went there.
Johnny, Jan the photographer, man. It's Jan the photographer.
Well, he can go by Johnny fucking Mango. I don't give a shit.
Dude, that business card.
That business card is the shit.
Yeah.
It's one of my finest creations.
Yes, definitely.
It's the best filter I've ever had.
Yes.
I guarantee that everybody somewhere on a corkboard has that business card.
Yes, it is in my collection.
Hear that? You're getting praised today.
I've spread the love around. I've put that business card in so many places. It's also cost me gigs. I
wouldn't be surprised at this point with you.
Yeah, handing that business card to the PR manager of a Christian metal band was a bad move.
No, and like to be honest, like Blaine, you were probably like the first guy that actually accepted what we were doing, like with music.
Yeah,
like it. Well, we were a 3-week-old band, and then we just show up and we played the parkade, and you were just like, "Dude, you guys are really good. Like,
it's good music.
Don't stop."
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's always interesting because a lot of people think I'm only in the metal and punk, but I really do listen to everything. I literally just Friday took my son down to go see Andy Grammer perform.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, okay.
Andy Grammer's married to Curly Sue.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's his wife in real life.
That's awesome. We went down there and we had a blast. My kid was jumping around. I was jumping around with him, just dancing in the crowd and having fun. I like all music. And
and honestly, like the amount of like country song sing-alongs that we've had in your car where I'm like, how the fuck do you even know this song?
I know all music, my friend.
But is it true that Americans are born knowing the lyrics to most country songs?
No.
Unless it's 90s country music.
Then you might. When we're talking like the Garth Brooks and the Brooks and Dunn and Tim McGraw, that era is like
George
everybody knows.
Everyone knows it. Yeah.
If you were born in the 80s or 90s, you know all of that music. Hell, even in the 2000s.
Yeah.
They haven't gone away. But okay, so about your guys' music, have you guys released any albums yet? Are you guys getting ready to drop an album?
So we've never released an album. So this year we're working on a 12-song EP.
Nice.
And we're really, really excited. I'm producing it, so I've been going to school for music production on a scholarship. So I've just been producing the hell out of this album.
Nice.
So we're pretty pumped about that. And then this is our first album, so we're really excited about it. And even if it doesn't do really well, like we're excited.
It's good shit.
I gotta ask, because we kind of went into this with Sean of Decayer. What's the difference between an album and an EP to you?
So I was actually doing a little research. I didn't know what EP and LPs were. Mm-hmm. I found out that they were extended plays and limited plays. So limited play is like a 5-song album, 6-song album, and then EP is just this giant, culmination album that you have created. For me, I think if we were to do 5 songs, there's like this waterfall effect that goes on streaming where it's like if you start generating streams, then they waterfall into the next and so on and so forth. With a 12-song album, that generates a lot more streams and garners a lot more attention.
Fair. So it's really like you're not just like writing the music for the album. You're also like, look, if we're going to get our name out there, we want to do it right.
Yeah, because that's a huge goal. And, like the goal out there is like we don't want to just be known as Playing with Giants, the local band. We want to be known as Playing with Giants, the band. Like that's the band. If somebody says, "Oh, I want to cover your song" or something, like that's really rewarding,
flattering.
Yeah, and it's very flattering. Yeah.
That's actually a really good question because I've had this. And he can attest to this. I am not a fan of cover bands. I'm okay with bands covering songs, but I have an issue with cover bands. And the reason for that is I've always felt it takes away from the artists that put their years and time into that music. And then you see these cover bands come out and they play all these covers, but then they're making like anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a night at a local gig off of somebody else's hard work and dedication.
They should get slapped.
And that's honestly my opinion on it. Now, like, say if you're an original band and you threw in like a cover, or maybe 2, and you're doing like a 10-song set or whatever, that I can live with.
Yeah.
But when you're just a cover band making your money off of other people's hard work and music, I mean, I've always just been offended by that. Is that something that's ever bothered like you guys when you think about it?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I'm pretty. It's gonna sound pretty awful, but I'm pretty judgmental when it comes to musicians because I have like a really crazy ear for music. So like when I hear a cover band, I'm expecting them to make it sound exactly like it's supposed to. So if they miss a note, I'm like, oh dude, they suck. They missed a note. but at the same time, no, I agree with what you're saying because it's like, dude, like, why can't you write your own original stuff? Like clearly you guys have the skills to pay the bills. So why are you using somebody else's skills to pay the bills?
I like the creativity aspect.
Yeah.
Right.
I like being able to create beats, to create my own stuff.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And vibe and groove and then just lay it down and
and it's like we have like a catalog of over 300 songs. So it's like we could literally just say, hey, are you getting, they're like, do you guys write originals? That's like the biggest thing we crack about every time is because it's like, they're like, we only do originals. It's like, well, you don't have to worry because we've got a lot of originals. But yeah, I agree with you. Like we've played covers before. Like we did "Careless Whisper,"
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, like
no,
I think,
no. George Michael's the shit.
Yeah. No, we love George Michael.
And honestly, like I love it when bands take a song, especially if take it from one genre, make it your own. One of my favorite songs of all times will probably always be "Children of Bodom" doing Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I love that part, and a band that does that occasionally, I'm fine with. There's bands, and I think that the easy example to bring up, is Disturbed.
Yeah. Disturbed, Weezer, Five Finger Death Punch. I mean, there's so many artists out there that are dropping a ton of covers. My issues with like Five Finger Death Punch is they are the greatest cover band ever made. I mean, really. I mean, you don't hear any originals on the radio anymore.
No.
You did for their first two albums, and then once they dropped Bad Company, they dropped Bad Company, and then that's all I've ever heard ever since is covers. Yeah. Never anything original anymore. Yeah. They're still writing it, but that's all they're known for now.
It's what I hate about Bad Wolves. They did that cover of
Zombie.
By Cranberries.
And I just looked it up. It's actually like the third most played metal song on Pandora. I love that song, but those guys' original work goes fucking hard.
Yeah.
And you don't hear it.
The only thing that's sad about that song with the Cranberries one is they were going to bring back
Dolores was going to sing on it.
Yeah, Dolores was going to sing on it, and it was going to be like respect to that artist. And then she passed away right before it happened. Yeah. So with that one, I have a lot more leniency because of the fact that I know the history, and it was just the only cover I've heard from them.
No, but that's the thing with them is like that's also until I saw them live or before I started looking into them, that was the only song I'd ever hear by them.
Yeah.
And that's a shame because those are incredibly talented musicians as well with a lot of amazing original work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But because of the catchiness and the familiarity of the original of Zombies, that's what gets played.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of where I'm at with Weezer right now, too, because Weezer, well, they did which two did they do?
Africa,
and what's the other one recently?
Van Weezer?
Yeah, so on their new album, they copied Crazy Train.
Really?
Yeah, like the first song that comes out, they start playing the guitar, and it's literally Crazy Train.
Huh.
Signature Select.
I know.
Purified drinking.
But no, they covered that Africa, and they just did another cover recently as well, too. It's the one... Oh,
no.
Take On Me?
Take On Me.
They ruined Aha?
Dude, it's actually a really good cover, but the problem I'm having is now they're falling into that rut. Yep. They dropped Africa. Now, is it only going to be their covers is the only thing that goes on the radio? Like, I don't like it when bands get caught in that. Now, if you do one and you do it right, power to you. Cool. I just feel like you got to have more for yourself as well.
On the other hand, I will also say, like, I do love bands like Northern Kings, which is like a super group of guys from Sonata Arctica, Taro, and Sharon, who sing Take On Me as well.
Yeah.
But they have whole albums and it's just cover songs. I'm like, I like it, but it's like it's a super group. That's not what they do. That's not their main gig. That's not
right.
I'm like, at that point, they're all established artists already. Like, sure, I do think as far as local ones, bands that do a cover here and there, great. It adds a little excitement, adds a little familiarity to otherwise a set you might not know as well. Mm. But, I think you have a good point where, the moment you have, like, you do a set and 40% of it's covers or more.
I would hate myself forever if I was always known as the band for covering.
Yeah, like if they came up to you and they're like, "We loved your rendition of this song." It's like, but that's not my song.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
well, now if you did a complete rendition change, that's a little different because then you're not playing the same music, but you still have to play enough to make it familiar.
Yes.
And that's the hard part. Is it's like
and there's certain bands out there that if you touch those covers,
you better do them right.
Yeah, I don't think you can improv and do your own thing. Like,
no,
if you're touching a Beatles cover, those solos by George, need to be there.
Yeah.
Like Panic at the Disco singer did a rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody, and so like now whenever someone types in his videos, it doesn't even pop up because nobody cared. Like, that was the thing. That song's too amazing because it's Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like...
Well, there's certain songs that you just can't cover and you know, do better than the original. At that point, why bother?
Yeah.
I think for me personally, it's I remember hearing this weird soft piano rendition of Nothing Else Matters. I'm like, why? Just don't. Pick something else. Like...
But anyway, let's not get too focused on that. But you guys would be excited if somebody like actually said like, hey, we want to cover your song.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see what they would do with it.
Oh, yeah.
That would be very interesting if they took, like, one of ours really, like, pepped up, like, jumpy songs, and then they turned it into, like...
Full Monarchy.
Something like that, or they just made it completely orchestral, and it was just an orchestrated type song. Like, that would be amazing, too. But,
a little bit more jazzy. Funky.
Yeah, there's just a lot of different things that you can do.
Straight death metal.
Yeah, like, seriously. But, like, with my voice, though, that might not happen.
And I don't use double bass because my favorite instrument on the drum set is the hi-hat. So.
And that, honestly, I think anybody who can actually utilize their cymbals, and, you know, and I'm going to dive into this for just a quick sec, but not too long. Metallica, oh my God, what's his name? Drummer? Lars, thank you. I mix it up so much.
Wait, are we considering him a drummer?
Shut up.
Oh, okay. He's a great drummer.
He is a fantastic drummer because he is one of the best fillers of all time. He knows how to use his cymbals. He knows how to fill.
He plays the same fill on every live song.
Shut up, Jan.
I love Lars. I respect the hell out of him, yeah.
He really did something different with the whole fact of what he did with how good he was with his hi-hats and his cymbals.
Honestly, and for me, like what Lars did was he made a lot of double kick grooves that made it to the mainstream. Unforgiven's little triplets in there are fucking amazing. I think every drummer has played those at some point. That's wonderful. I just, you know, as Metallica grew older, he grew lazier. It's not as inventive as it used to be.
I'm not going to say that their new stuff is the greatest stuff ever. I'm just saying from the prime.
I want to know what Dave has to say on this. He is a drummer.
Well, you're a drummer too.
Yeah, I know.
Got two drummers.
I kind of got into Metallica late because I was in a punk band in high school, and I don't know. My guitar player made fun of it a lot, Metallica. So,
I have no problem with it.
And then when I got out of that, and then I started listening to Metallica, I was like, these guys are the fucking shit.
Yeah.
They, like, Lars sometimes does, like, 4 on the floor, just keeping it going on the foot. Like, it's just... I love it.
I have no qualms with it whatsoever.
For the record, this I'm talking strictly live Lars.
Yes. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah. Live Lars versus album Lars, that's a whole different conversation.
Because you can put it all out on an album, but you don't have to put it all out on a show, especially if you have a routine tour.
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of like sticking to the same set, the same show at that point because you're like, I'm fucking tired. Like I need to just do this and get it over with so I can get off the stage. Like he and I have had that where it's like we had like 3 days back to back, and it was just like we went from Portland to Cannon Beach, back to Portland, back to Cannon Beach, back to Portland, back to Cannon Beach, and we didn't sleep at all. Like it was awful.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeesh, no. But when you got to do that too, when you're on tour, sometimes that's just how it goes. You ain't gonna sleep for a day or two, and you got to get used to it.
It is fun, you know.
Oh, it's a blast.
Down to a bottle and a half in water, and stretched, and then and then just went and did another gig. So
rough.
All right, well, let's get back on track with about you guys, though. So your 12-song album that you're wanting to drop, do you guys have a name for it yet, or are you guys holding that back? Or
It's called 21.
It's called 21?
Yeah, so basically, it's our return to 2021.
Oh, nice.
So the album art is a little different. It's like this TV, and then there's an alien head, and then in the alien's eyes...
If you were to send it to me, I'll have it right here on screen.
Oh, I could definitely send it to you, yeah.
Let's make sure we do that.
The eyes basically spell out 2021 in Roman numerals.
Oh, nice.
So it's really cool. And it's like it's got kind of like a Blink-182 kind of like neon painting type thing. I design all the album arts and stuff.
Blink was my high school jam.
Oh, I think it was everybody's high school jam at some point.
Breaking Benjamin was mine.
That's another one that was probably a good everybody was into.
Yeah.
That band really blew me away.
Breaking Benjamin? Yeah.
I hate you. I hate you. It's an inside joke. Don't worry. Anyway. So let's go over that for a second here. What are your guys' inspirations? Like, let's kind of dive into that a little bit.
Inspirations for...
Your style of music writing. What kind of like do you think of as like this inspired me to kind of like get into music and get you doing what you're doing? Obviously, I'm pretty sure one of yours is the Beatles.
And the Who.
Okay.
Which Who are we talking? Like the old Who or the new The Who?
What do you mean the new Who? There's only one.
The new Who.
I'm talking about the Mongolian throat singing metal band. The Who.
You mean?
Oh gosh.
I believe they go by the Huh.
The Huh.
Because it's supposed to be like the Hun.
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, continue. He's being a dork. Go ahead.
I would never be a dork.
And my favorite record of all time was the first record I got when I was in 5th grade from my dad. It's Steve Miller's Greatest Hits, 74 through 78. And it is my favorite album of all time. And I just love it. The drummer, everything. It's just solid. And it is, playing with that record really helped me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So as a drummer, and you say, listening to Blink-182, has that influenced you as well?
Oh, definitely. Scott and Travis, both of them.
Okay.
And what about you, Blake?
I'm a little different. I just kind of I drummed and played trumpet in high school, but I was never really into music all that much. Like I listened to a lot of music, but I just kind of woke up one day and thought, I'm going to play music. And then I just grabbed a guitar and I taught myself in a couple weeks and started singing a couple weeks after that. And then, like, when it comes to our influence in the music, there is none. Like, when it comes to drums, like, his influence are there. But with me, like, the crazy thing about me is I don't listen to music. So what that is, it basically everything you're hearing is just, there's no influence behind it. It's just straight from my brain. So it's whatever comes to my head when I'm working on a song, it just goes down. And then I'm like, hey, dude, just play something on the drums. And he's just like, all right, I got you. And then it just comes together really well.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. No, that's actually really cool when I'm thinking about it, because like you listen to so many types of bands over the year or artists, and it's going to influence the way like you hear music, the way you want to do music. You not being so tied into music from an early age and then just getting to walk into it blindly gives you like that whole freedom of like there is no box that you're in. Like it's just open. Whatever you feel at the moment, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, like I still to this day, unless I'm on a road trip, I don't listen to music. Like I very seldom listen to music because I don't want it to influence how we sound.
That's actually really cool.
Actually, it kind of goes into one of my pet peeves, and it's mainly metal bands. Metal bands who are, our biggest inspiration is other metal band. I'm like, okay, you're going to sound like a metal band.
Yeah.
I love it when metal bands have other influences, or rock bands have other influences that are not the genre they play as. Because it makes you stand out. It makes you not sound like everyone else. I want to hear a rock band that's influenced by classic jazz music. I want to hear a metal band that's influenced by a violinist. Like, what does that sound like? I
mean, it's one of the things that I tell people all the time. Some of my biggest inspirations were Elvis Presley, Pat Benatar, Reba McEntire, even Justin Bieber. People can make
some catchy stuff, man.
He knows he knows his beats, he knows his music, and his voice is good.
Yeah,
like you cannot.
He's a genius.
He really. We can make fun of him for days. Don't get me wrong, and he earns every second.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
But musically talented wise, the kid's on point.
Yeah,
he's a ridiculously really gifted drummer too.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously.
Yeah,
good.
it's crazy.
Everything he's on too, it's like everything he touches. It's kind of like Eminem's status too. It's like every time he gets on someone's song, he becomes the main part of that song. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
like every time you go on there, it always says like the artist, but nobody remembers the artist. They remember Bieber was
right. It says featuring Justin Bieber, and that's why they're listening to that song. Is because Justin Bieber just went on
Lil Jon.
What's that?
Kind of like featuring Lil Jon.
Sure.
But at that point, you know the song's going to be
yeah.
Are you talking about the drummer song? Is that what you're talking about, Travis Barker?
I actually really like that song.
I do too. Yeah, you got the game on there and stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
It's a good song. It's just like
they brought Busta. They brought back Busta. That's what made me happy.
Busta, man.
Fuck.
I remember when I come home, you're like, dude, you're not going to believe who he's got on this track.
Dude, it was a fire track. I was like, this really is a damn good song.
Like, I love listening to artists. Like you said, Elvis Presley. When I was a kid, I was introduced to Your Song by Elton John. And I fell in love with music, right? But, like, I haven't used him as an inspiration. It's more like when I think about an artist and the way they are, I think about how they are in their etiquette. So, like, the only time I use inspiration is when it's band etiquette. So, like, if someone's talking to me, or let's say, like, we're playing a show and I have strep throat or bronchitis, it's like the show must go on. Like, right. Because that's what those artists would do.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair. And I think one of the interesting things there is I know a lot of artists who I don't enjoy the music of, but when I see them show up to a show and I see how they prepare for it, how they set up, they're just not just showmanship, but yeah, like it's a level of professionalism. I'm like, oh yeah, that's dope, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The more I work with Blaine too and see this, the more I am like, okay, I can appreciate this. There's too many bands that don't.
The band etiquette out there is horrendous from times. But
Yes.
the thing that I appreciate the most is when bands are willing to listen to that etiquette.
Yes.
So a lot of new kids get into the music and they're like, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And I was like, hang on a second. Let's take steps here.
Yeah.
First off, you want to start here and then we're going to do this and then you want to go there. And they're like, whoa, but we got to do this and this. You're thinking too far ahead too fast.
Yeah.
Like, bring it back. Let's start with the basics and get you caught up there. Because, like I said, one of my favorite things to do is to teach people. I like the kids to be inspired by music. I mean, I've taught several people how to use PA systems to learn how they can run their own little house gigs or whatever, so they can start getting into it. Teaching them just basic things on like how to use a basic DAW, or I mean, I'm no pro, so all I'm going to do is teach the basics, but. Or showing up to shows and like, okay, when you get there, you're going to want to speak with this person. You're going to want to do this and this. Make sure you wait until they're ready for you to take gear up on stage. When you're getting on, teach yourself and train yourself. You know, you've got a 15-minute block between when the band ends and when the next band starts, which means you need to be off that stage in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, just little things like that. And sometimes when you're first starting out, you get excited and you finish your set and you're like, yeah, I'm talking with people. It's like, you got to get your gear off stage. I need your gear off stage. There's etiquette to this. Let's go.
Yeah. And you can talk, there's room to talk to people. Like if you span it out right, like if you prepare for it correctly, like it just comes naturally. Like as soon as you're done, you know you're gonna be talking to people, but you also know that the next band is expecting to play. So it's like, all right, let's get our shit off the stage, and then we can go converse with people.
You'll catch them at the merch table eventually.
Yes, exactly. Like, or people will come up to you as you're unloading your gear off the stage, and they'll just be like, "Oh man, you guys were so good." Like, "Oh hey, thank you."
Yeah. And it's a, thank you, let's talk later.
Yes, like, I've done that before. I've done that where it's like, oh, thanks so much. Like, if you don't mind, I'm going to unload my gear, but I will come back and we can converse if you would like. And they're just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things, too, is I always tell them, it's like, hey, thanks so much for coming out and having a great time with us. I got to finish unloading, but why don't you meet me over at the merch table here in about like 10 minutes, and then I can sit down and chat with you guys, take some photos, whatever. So it's just learning that right rhythm of how to do it.
You use your customer service voice on them. That's pretty much what it is. Like,
Thank you for coming out to the show today. We would love to speak with you over at the merch table in about 10 minutes.
Like, if you have any complaints, I can transfer you to my manager. Please hold. Hi, this is my manager.
What helped me, I think, the way I play is my jazz roots. I was raised a jazz drummer, and I think when you go back to jazz as a drummer,
jazz is a fundamental in drumming, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I kind of left that family trend from my dad and my brother and moved more classic rock, punk rock, alternative. I wanted to be Keith Moon and Ringo on the riser and be, I wanted that since I was in 6th grade. I still did jazz band, but it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah,
that's fair.
No, and it's great to have so many different influences that come into other things as well too. And I can assure you that your jazz playing helped you with where you're at now.
Oh, definitely.
And I don't care what anyone says. Really, any instrument, if it's jazz, it's gonna teach you something important.
Yes.
Jazz teaches you to play with feeling.
Yes.
I mean, you can learn to play to a click, and that's great. You can learn to be technically very proficient, but learning to put your heart into your instrument, jazz will teach you that like nobody's fucking.
Jazz and the blues.
Yeah,
that's the two that I always fall to for that is jazz and the blues.
And Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Gene Krupa, Buddy
but that man's just an enigma.
Yeah, that dude was just a stallion in so many different ways. How do you fight it?
Yeah,
I mean, nobody on planet Earth can say really anything bad about the guy.
Other than he had an ego. That's like the only thing you can say. But
musically,
he was amazing.
There was no one like him.
I was gonna say, like, if anyone deserves to have a fucking ego on him, it's Freddie Mercury.
It's Freddie Mercury. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move forward a little bit. I want to talk to you guys because we've had this conversation a little bit back and forth. So you guys are big nerds.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to get into this because I never get to nerd out on this show, and I want to have some nerd chat for a minute.
Excited.
So, what kind of things are you guys like into? So I know that you're big into Batman. You're big into Spider-Man. Okay, so we have that one. I know that you're big into Transformers.
Absolutely, yes.
What else are you guys like?
Dave's a Star Wars nerd as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah. He's Star Wars nerd. You're a Star Wars nerd. I know that.
Ninja Turtles, definitely.
Power Rangers is like my absolute favorite. My daughter actually the other day said she wants to be the Pink Ranger.
Nice.
And I was so
proud. Kimberly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kimberly with the dragon flute, man. Yeah, seriously.
Like I have my original like Megazord from the 90s.
Oh, that's awesome!
It's amazing.
My buddy just picked up one of the they released in about 5 years ago. They released like new builds of like the original Transformers, and off the table they're like this tall.
Oh my gosh!
And you can actually disassemble them to all the different single individual Zords.
Yeah.
And then you take the Zords and you can morph them back and actually build.
Yeah. That's what this one does. They were all separate and they all went together.
Oh, that's so dope.
Well, they're designed by Bandai. So, I mean, you're going to get that.
And
really
they were
cool
90s
quality.
US toys.
They were so cool.
See, when it comes to those 90s US, my favorite thing I had when I was a kid, and this is going to show just how much of a nerd I am.
Go for it.
Is I had that old Thunderbirds island that had the buttons that you can play the sound clips from the show about which Thunderbird was launching.
Oh, that is cool.
Oh, it was so cool.
That is cool.
Do you guys remember Street Sharks?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Street Sharks were the shit.
Hell yeah.
I found one up in, where were we at?
Lacey, Washington.
I found
There's
one.
a toy store in Lacey, Washington.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We go to like vintage toy stores and like geek out and then buy figures.
That's dope. That's
So
dope.
every time we take a band trip or a road trip, we have to go to a vintage toy store. Like it has to happen. Because on the road trip, he's talking to me and he's telling me stories and stuff, and I'm just sitting there with a Transformer. Just they're puzzles, So.
Dude, they're awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
They were our generation's fidget spinners.
So
they were amazing.
When MP3s first came out and they were like cool, my first MP3 player was actually oh my god, Soundwave. It was a Soundwave transformer, and his chest, the tape deck, opened up, and you could put an SD card in it. But you could transform it and everything. I was like, that is so
cool.
Oh,
that is cool.
Damn.
And I paid way too much for it, but I loved that damn thing.
I just remember when I was like very little, and like my favorite thing, my favorite nerdy little thing was this alarm clock I got, and it was R2D2.
Hell yeah.
And then, like, and not only could it like make the noises that R2 made to wake me up, which it didn't because it was way too quiet, but whatever, I had R2D2. And also you could pop the top off of him and he became a projector to project C-3PO's face.
Oh, awesome.
That is really cool.
That's cool.
It's kind of weird. It's like when I was a kid growing up, like I had a lot of toys when I would go see my dad in Nevada. Mm-hmm. And then when I'd be here in Washington with my family, I mean, I had toys, but I had to get good grades to get them. So I didn't have a lot of toys. So like one day I told my dad, I said, save all of my toys in these totes because I'm going to come back for them. Like they were really amazing toys, and recently I found out he threw them away.
Oh no!
Thousands of dollars worth of like the most amazing Transformers, Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles. Like there was just so many cool
the
things.
Animated series,
and that's what opened up the whole. All right, we got to go to toy stores because I got to build my collection again.
Yeah, we got to build it back.
Honestly, I will say, like going to toy stores now, especially secondhand toy stores or collectible ones. Now that I have a disposable income, it's way more fun.
It's way more fun. Yes,
I gotta say, I run a collectible store on eBay, Dave's Stash.
Okay.
And follow me on Instagram, Facebook if you want. You get to see my stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I resell them sometimes to make better. I know the guys
to go to the next level up on the plate.
Yeah, to buy better stuff.
No,
basically.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm a big comics nerd.
Oh,
so
me too.
when comic book stores started implementing, like, especially now, you can't go into a comic book store without finding like the cool figures and action figures and
yes.
stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So I like the McFarlanes, but I like to go more old school than that.
Yes,
Like,
old
I
school
want
is
the
way
retro stuff.
cooler.
And but I will admit, Todd McFarlane branding action figures have come. Wow. Like, they were cool from the beginning, and they're still kicking ass to this day.
Yeah.
But I love that I can go into a comic book shop and find comics and find my action figures and find my collectibles and get my statuettes.
Yeah.
I'm stoked that I can go into those. So if I can't find a vintage store, I always make sure to find a comic shop.
Yeah.
So when I go out on trips, that's what I look for is the comic
for
stores.
Sure. What I love, too, is like when it comes to like how weirdly some of these things retain their value.
Oh,
I love that.
Weirdly, they've gone up ridiculously.
I'm not going to lie. So my move to the U.S. has been in part funded by selling some of my old Star Wars collectibles.
You would probably like the store in Aberdeen, Washington. It's a pure Star Wars store, and it's vintage, super vintage.
Okay, we're going to stop this podcast. I got a trip to make.
No, what's the name of the place? Do you know?
I'm going to find it. I'm going to put it right here on the screen.
He knows the drummer, the original drummer of Nirvana off Bleach, Adam Burkhart, and he has him come in and sign all this shit, and then he just resells it. Like
super
the
funny.
guy from Bleach, the drummer from Bleach, Adam Burkhart, is on.
That's brilliant.
That's awesome.
And he has him come in and sign shit.
We got there because Dave was like, I can't wait to show you this store. They've got vintage figures everywhere. And I'm like, all right. And then we get there, and I'm looking all over this building. It's just Star Wars. And I'm like, Dave, this is not a vintage toy store. This is
it was a vintage dope store.
It's a vintage Star Wars toy store. But the funny thing was...
The best kind of vintage toy store.
I mean...
The best thing was is we get to the door, and they're closed. And we're like, oh, man, that sucks. And then there's a sign that says, if you want us to open the store for you, just call. So we called the guy, and he's like, what do you want? And we're like, well, hey, we were just in. He's like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. He opened up the store for us and chatted with us, and he had just closed the store. Like, he was like, all right, I'm done for the day. But he came back anyways because he's that much into selling crap.
That's awesome.
And he's into music. I asked
he
him
was
if
into music heavily, yeah.
I asked him if he had any of the Who records, and he said those went fast. But he's like, look outside at my sign. It's a lyric from Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. It says... Old virus, same as the new virus. We won't get fooled again.
Oh,
or I might have got it backwards, but yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So yours is your top like nerd is for Power Rangers then, or what do you lean towards?
So right now,
like, what's your number one that you nerd out on?
Number one nerding out on is probably Transformers. Second would be Power Rangers, and third would probably be like Batman animated series figures.
All right,
from the 90s.
All right, and then what would your top three be?
My top three?
Yeah, he gave three. If you want to do just one, that's fine too.
Spidey.
Okay.
Turtle
Power. If you don't have a third, it's okay.
Ow, I didn't mean to hit the mic.
There's some. I'll just stick with those two.
Okay.
That's fair.
What
about yours, Blaine?
No. You get to go first.
Oh, man. I mean, obviously, Star Wars is right up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, like, old video games, too. Yeah, I love that old BioWare era video game.
Oh
shit.
gosh,
I love
Super
that.
NES, Donkey Kong.
Oh,
Country,
that too, man. Old
Street
Nintendos.
Fighter.
Yeah,
That's old. I thought we were going to talk Atari.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm joking. Just making fun of how old I am.
It's okay. We always make fun of how old
I
you
know.
are.
It's great. So you got Star Wars. You got classic video games.
Yeah, that's got to be my main ones. Outside of that, there's just so much nerd culture shit that I love.
Yeah. So mine ties into comic books. So whether it's their movies or their comics or whatever, I love comic books, especially anything by Neil Gaiman.
Sandman.
I love the Sandman series. I've got all of the compendium, the big ass thick fucking.
Are you excited for the live action Netflix series?
I really am, because the people that he's got working with him on it are they have literally been in interviews and they have spewed shit out that it's you know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that makes me excited. Now, whether or not they pull it off, we'll see. But I'm willing to give it that shot and truly see what they can do.
Yeah, I love the Sandman. Those are really good comics.
Mm-hmm.
The silly thing is now that you're talking about people knowing what they're talking about on set, and all I can think of is these interviews that they did with Christopher Lee for The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And he was giving trivia to the rest of the cast about their own characters they were playing.
And they couldn't answer any of them?
No, but he knew it. He didn't have the book on hand. He was just rattling them off left and right. I'm like, man, that was just amazing, that man.
So what's really cool, I'll finish off my list. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about that. There's comic books, Neil Gaiman especially. I really love all of his work. Video games, but it's not set to a certain genre or era. It's just I nerd out hard once you find one that's really good, and I dive into it. One of my favorites of all time is the Soul Reaver series. I actually have 3 figures over there next to that wall over there. I'll show you guys before we leave. Okay. And then I've got a whole Soul Reaver tattoo set up on my arm here with Kane, and then I've got Raziel on the arm and the clan symbols. They actually made comic books, and people don't realize that they make comic books for certain video games too. And I found out the Soul Reaver was one of them, and so was the Kane series. And I was like, oh fuck yeah! So it's cool for me to find how much they snowball into so many different things.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Love that stuff. And then I'd say probably my third thing as far as nerdom goes is just that I am a really big tinkerer with electronics. If it wasn't the fact that this is so important to me for the soundboard, for what we're doing with the podcast, if it was any other day, I'd probably just take it apart and see what the hell made it all work.
Yeah. I've taken apart a lot of Xbox
consoles. I love taking apart drums and changing heads and retuning them and cleaning the lugs and
Oh yeah.
No, it's kind of the same thing. I just like to see how things tick.
Yes.
I'm really big into that.
Yeah,
you familiarize yourself with so in case something breaks, you're like, okay, that's probably what's broken. I know what to do.
There's something meditative to it as well. I don't know why.
If I was born in another time, I'd be a clocksmith.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that all day long. Just the puzzle of putting it back together and all the little gears and seeing how it all coincides together. I love shit like that. It just makes my day. Though I will say I'm totally down with the Turtle Power, totally down with the Transformers and Power Rangers as well.
Yeah.
Batman animated series. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I'd probably have to say my favorite, and this is before the craze. I was a huge Deadpool fan before people really knew who Deadpool was.
Yeah, I was. 91, dude. Rob Liefeld, man, he created a really good anti-hero.
Yeah. It was awesome. I remember the first Spawn comic I ever had. I literally had edition 1 with the action figure that came with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. I do have Spawn issue 1. I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cool to just be I remember that starting. I remember that being a thing. you know?
Yeah.
So it's cool to have that.
I think it's seeing it coming back. Seeing other people experience the same thing you experience that way, I love that. I still remember the first time that friends of mine were starting to see Game of Thrones, and I remember when the Red Wedding happened in the show. I'm like, this is why I was sad all those years ago.
Because I had the books, and I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
My uncle loves that show. I could never get into it because I don't know. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I used to watch the Spartacus series on Starz.
Okay, yeah,
that was so good. But I don't really watch a lot of TV.
See, I would rather watch series than movies. I'm huge on that, and I think the big thing for me though is that because I have kids now, I have little time to own the TV because they're on it.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's kind of like, and I have to be like, oh, you guys can't watch that. Okay.
Yeah,
well, I guess I can't watch it either.
as much as I love watching Harley Quinn, can't watch them when the kids in the room.
No.
Oh, that's such a good show, though. I did
really
see that.
I finally finished it, and I was just like,
yes. It's good.
Yeah, I
that
like
was
that.
a good one.
Okay, cool. Anything else you guys want to throw out about being in the nerd hood, or you guys want to leave it at that?
I'll name my third. I've had time.
Okay.
Sinestro from Green Lantern. I love the Sinestro core. Yeah.
So as far as like comic books, you guys are both into them, right?
I have some comics. I used to read a lot of Superman comics and Batman comics.
So were you a DC fan then?
I was. Yeah, my father was primarily a DC guy, so like he kind of pushed his beliefs on and off onto me.
Yeah, Spider-Man, man.
So you're a Marvel guy then?
I love Batman and Green Lantern, but there's nothing like Spidey. There never will be, and he is the greatest hero of all time.
The comics.
Oh, he's throwing down the gauntlet right
The
there.
comics.
I literally am throwing the gauntlet. No one beats Spidey.
I don't know about that.
Kyler, we'll see you in the comments.
Yeah, no kidding. What about you? Do you have a faction that you fall into?
On DC versus Marvel?
Anything comics? Like, what was your bread and butter?
Comics wise, I honestly never really got into comics a lot. When I was reading a lot of Iron Man. Mm-hmm. I used to love the Iron Man comics. I also used to love the Batman comics. Those were my two main ones, and I kind of fell between those two. So
that's Marvel and DC, so you didn't care either way.
I'm kind of brand agnostic when it comes to that one.
That's fair. I was an Image and Top Cow fan. Those were my two bread and butters. Don't get me wrong, loved Marvel, loved DC. I liked the stuff that was out of the Marvel and the DC universe. Mm-hmm. That was what more I was into. And then obviously I fell into Neil Gaiman's camp. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, the only thing I didn't like about the superheroes is I loved reading them, and then retcon somehow. And then reading them, and we got a retcon again somehow. And it's like I got so lost after time that it was like, I don't know which timeline we're in and what's happening. Is this Peter Parker from Universe 1 or is this Peter Parker from Universe 5? Yes. I don't know what's who's Miles? Okay, he's a new guy. Got it. We're pulling him in now. Okay. Spider-Gwen. Yeah, great series. Where the fuck are you from?
That's why I like Batman, because it's just like Batman.
Well,
Batman.
No, you can't say that either, because Batman.
Now there's a new one. I know.
The Batman got a hold of what was it? That chair. Mm-hmm. He sat in the chair of wisdom or something like that, and he was able to see that there was like multiple Jokers and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh fuck, my head's about to explode.
There's the multiverse. Yeah.
But I mean, for the multiverse, Spider-Man hands down was the one to like throw that gauntlet of like, we're owning this shit and like we don't care, and then we're all going to come together and we're going to fucking kick everyone's ass.
The minute Spidey entered Civil War was when it was just like, there we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
But you never get like a badass feel from Spider-Man in the movies. Like you just get like, okay, yeah, he's a kid's hero.
Blake, this is like
then you get
all over
Batman. Then you get Batman, and it's just like he's beating the shit out of someone, and it's like, okay,
not
finally.
Spidey.
Huh?
Not Spidey.
Well, that's because they don't talk. They're different universes.
Yeah.
Well,
unless you do the what was that, the crossover wars where Marvel and DC actually let their comic heroes fight each other.
Yeah,
those were great.
Wonder Woman grabbed Thor's hammer. That was crazy.
Yeah. What was that? Spider-Man fought Superboy.
Yep.
Superman fought the Hulk.
Yep.
Wolverine fought Batman.
Yeah,
he fought
Batman.
We know who wins that.
What?
It's Mr. Rogers in a bloodstained sweater.
But no, what was cool was that after they did that series, they morphed the universes together, and they did a short run where like Wolverine and Batman were like the same dude. And so it was like half Wolverine, half Batman.
That's
and
dope.
then they did it with a shit ton of them, and I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm about this.
The movies though would be so interesting to see. Like if
they
did
actually
something
did
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Oh, this would be
like
so good.
Like I heard, like I don't know if you guys play Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
But like I heard, ever since they stopped releasing stuff, like there was supposed to be a Combat Pack 3 for MK11, but they discontinued that, and so they're working on a new game, and they haven't told us what it is. the rumor is...
Boy, I wonder who the new character would be.
Well, the rumor is somebody leaked a character list for their new game, and it's a Marvel character list and a DC character list.
Oh, shit.
Like
Imagine Spidey ripping someone's throat out with his web shooters.
Well, they would never allow it.
No.
It would be just like when Mortal Kombat versus DC happened.
Yeah.
The DCs wouldn't be allowed to do fatalities.
Yeah. It would be. It would.
They don't want. They don't want their heroes portrayed that way.
Man.
They could be like Injustice, 1 and 2. Like those games are really great.
Yeah.
Like Marvel vs. Capcom's really good too. But I think when it comes to action scenes, Injustice 2 is so good.
Customization that would.
I love customization. That's like my main thing about a game. If it doesn't have customization, I'm not interested.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the final test of a game that allows you creative freedom? Is how long it takes for someone to come up with a dick.
Oh my god! All right. Let's hone it back in a little bit.
How are you doing, Blake?
Shut up! I hate you so fucking much. All right. Any? I know that we've got a sound clip here from your guys' band, and so do you guys kind of want to give us the premise of this song? Tell us what it is, and we'll play a small clip for you guys.
Do you want? Should I tell them what it's about?
Which one?
Is it One Tap or Let Me Loose?
Let Me Loose.
Let Me Loose.
No, it's Let Me Loose.
So this is actually the first song on our brand new album.
Okay.
This is what the album opens up with. It's this song is basically just about escaping a nightmare. Okay. We wanted to do the whole happy sad vibe. Like I think we have a lot of those vibes as it is. Like the way that my lyrics come out and stuff, it's very anxious and talks about like what it's like to deal with a mental disability.
Okay.
Because I have Asperger's syndrome, so like I deal with that constantly, and it's not like it's a terrible thing to have. Like I think in many ways it's made me better as a person and as a musician.
It's a part of you either way.
Well, yeah, and I feel like it's like that creativity side of my brain is just completely unlocked. And so like when I write lyrics, I write about like how I feel, people feel, even though I don't experience emotions extremely well. It's really interesting. Like I feel more emotion through music and how I feel like other people would feel than I feel emotion in real life.
That's a good way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and play a clip of this right now. Let Me Loose, correct?
Yep.
That's the name of the song.
Let Me Loose.
And this is the first track off of their new album that'll be coming out hopefully within the next year.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're fast track working on this.
I mean, it's got 2021 on the album art apparently. So
that means we better get it out quick, huh?
Oh yeah, we've already gotten 3 or 4 done. So we're halfway.
Cool.
Just about halfway.
All right, so here we go. Let's check this out. All right, and that is a clip from Let Me Loose. Looking forward to that. When you guys do drop that, let us know so that way we can do a little promotion on here so we can say, hey, people, go check it out. This did drop, because we like to follow back up with people who say releases are coming soon, so that way people know, hey, that album dropped. Yeah. You guys can go and check that out. So
it's good for the continuity of our podcast as well.
Yeah.
You know, better than a DC universe.
Yeah.
100% agree, Johnny Mango.
All right. Well, what's the button I have to hit now?
I don't know.
Jiggery.
I think it's that's one.
That's one?
Yeah.
Or is it
that one?
That one too?
Ooh, okay.
Is it the red one or the yellow one? Because I can never remember after you made the changes for me.
Did you guys
it's
ever
the same
listen
button.
to?
I never changed which button it was.
Did you guys ever listen to One Tap?
So I have listened to One Tap.
Oh, okay.
I enjoy it. I don't think he has had the pleasure to listen to that song yet. I don't have any audio clip of it, so I can't really show it off, unfortunately.
No, it's all good, man.
But
what did you think of it?
I might see if I can play it during the outro.
Okay. That'd be a good way to do it. So what we'll do is we'll just put that in there.
It's so 2020, yeah.
So 2020.
But no, I enjoyed One Tap. It's definitely more a different feel than the song that we just played.
Yes.
For me, I would say that's more of like, how would you put it? That's more of that vibe of the guy with the acoustic, like kind of just like sitting there putting his heart into it kind of thing.
Yes.
So that's the vibe that kind of song gives. I really hate that I don't have a sound clip that I could show for.
So it's more of a jam, less of a bop?
What?
More of a jam, less of a bop?
More of a jam, less of a bop. No, I would think it's more honest and open and raw.
Yes.
That would be the way that I would describe it. Like that song is more of like an emotional, but it's got like that ambience. It's got that vibe to it.
Produced.
Whereas One Tap is more, it feels raw. It feels like this is just me, I'm going, here we go.
The biggest compliment we got from that is we finished the song and I was sending it to producers all over Oregon because I was living in Oregon at the time and he was visiting. And we get a message back from this producer in Oregon and he said, you guys sound a lot like the Beatles.
That's cool.
We were like, wow.
And I got a half chub.
I was going to say, like, I said, you'd have no idea, but my drummer is going to lose it.
Right.
And then he was just like, yeah, that what?
and I feel still to this day, I did that in like second take, and it is or was it first take?
Yeah, it was. That was a first take for both of us. Yeah, we both just put it all out there.
The emotion in that song that I felt through the lyrics and stuff is just my best drum performance, I feel.
That's awesome.
And
no matter how much you produce me, the emotion in that song, the rawness, it was just there.
The sound of the riots in the background, too.
It was all just necessary.
We had a message that we wanted to put out there, and we were just like, this is... We couldn't even see each other for like 6 months. So it took like 6 months to really put this song out there.
Damn.
But then once we get it, we got into an apartment and I put one microphone right up to near the kick and the snare. So literally that song's just one microphone.
In a studio apartment.
And then I just mixed it the best that I could.
Damn. That's cool.
Yeah. So I like that.
No, that's really cool that you guys were still able to push through that, even with the distance and the time having to separate, and with everything that was going on in Oregon at that time too.
Yeah, it was. It was chaotic.
And then to get that kind of a compliment, where are you going to argue with that?
Yeah, no, we were thrilled because we were like, you know what, like this song is really good. Like we were playing it in a park, and because he 6 months later he comes over and he's just like, dude, let's go jam in the park. And we hadn't seen each other in 6 months, so we were thinking, it's going to kind of take time to get back into the swing of things. And we were right on it. Like we played the song all the way through and Dave was like, dude, we should record this song tomorrow. And I was like, I agree. And then we just, in this tiny ass little apartment in Redmond, Oregon, we closed the windows, we closed the doors, turned the AC off so we were baking in there. And then we just recorded it, and we felt something about that song.
And we were
that day.
Recording static and switches. And
I recorded myself, so it sounds like there's a radio going on in the background, and then there's that switch at the end of the song. That's me recording myself flipping a switch and turning it off. So we got really experimental in that song.
That's cool.
Yeah. We tried it. That's our PWG kind of thing. Is we get experimental with every song, and we try to make sure that no song sounds the same.
That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
No, it's good to be experimental with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's move on to the next segment of our show. This is going to be... That's right. It's Who You Reppin', the time of day where we talk about the artists that we are representing on us or that we would like to represent, even if you're not wearing something that is a band product. Okay? Does that work? You still want to join the game?
Join the game of what?
What we do is we talk about the artists that we're representing on our clothes.
Okay. I've got multiple.
Even if you don't have one, though, you can still throw out a rep to some band that you respect or yourself or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Dave's kind of repping himself already there.
I know he is. He's got that beautiful PWG hat right there.
That says drummer right on the back.
It looks like it's a custom made just for him kind of a thing right there.
It made for
and
him.
the shirt says itself.
Ringo and Moon and Baker and Mitchell and Bonham.
He's repping 3 Doors Down.
Oh, awesome.
What?
Nothing. No. It's all good. We're messing with you.
I'm repping the Beatles, The Who, Cream, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm representing.
Yep. That is an awesome old school list right there.
Yep.
And you're also representing yourselves.
Yes, I have to.
Very fair. I'm representing MTV.
Yeah?
That's what's on my shirt is MTV.
Oh.
No, I would say I would like to represent either 21 Pilots or Elton John. I think those two bands for me right now, or Bad Flower. Bad Flower's the shit.
Oh God.
Nice.
Their new song "Family" is amazing.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Have you guys ever heard of Bad Flower?
I've heard of Bad Flower. I don't know if you know.
I am not familiar, so I'm gonna have to look them up after this. It'll be fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy them. The song "Family" is just bar none. It's so good.
The drum lick.
It is so good.
Is amazing.
I haven't heard that song yet, so I'll definitely have to go and check it out.
You'll probably like it too because it's really, really hard hitting and good.
Good.
Nice. It starts out really. It's just a build up. It just builds up. But yeah, it's really good.
Awesome.
About that.
Who you repping?
I'm repping a Dysfunctional Society.
Nice. That's one of my favorite punkers in the town.
You were the one who introduced me to them. I've been to their shows. I don't think I've photographed them.
You may have once, but I'm not positive on that.
I'm not 100% sure. I know that they were playing during the hot dog eating contest, and I didn't photograph that.
Yes.
But no, you introduced me to them. They have that... we kind of talked about them earlier today as well.
They are literally that punk greatness mixed with Sabbath.
Yeah, they have that dryness to their sound that I just really quite like.
I just like the fact that they're a punk band because you think punk and you think just crazy nonsense all over the place.
Yes.
But they were inspired by things like the older metal, like Sabbath and all that, and Megadeth. So they get these sweet solos going in there and stuff too. And it's really cool to see how they married classic rock metal with punk. And it was just that's cool because when you watch it, it's just such a different vibe.
That old rock and metal has those jazzy drummers in it. They still have that too, which I really quite like.
Yeah. They're all definitely talented kids. Hell, I don't even know if I can call them kids anymore. I think they're all over 21 now. So it's just okay. But yeah, no, Dysfunctional Society. They're one of my favorite punkers in the town.
Also, I have to say, I absolutely love the design on this.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, they used a buddy of mine to actually do the artwork for them, and I was so stoked they took me up on go use this guy. He does great stuff.
Was it Bricks?
No, different guy.
Okay.
Different guy. But anyway,
who are you repping, Blaine?
I am representing Salem's Bend and their beautiful Vampires T-shirt. It's a van with vampire teeth.
That's actually pretty dope.
Yeah.
So Salem's Bend they are a groove.
Where are they located out of?
I have no idea.
Is it out of Salem? Because that'd be great.
I don't think they're from Oregon.
Oh, man.
I think they're from California or something like that, further away. I don't honestly know the answer though, so I could be wrong.
Let me see if I can Google it.
But Salem's Bend, they're a fantastic band. They're kind of they are rock, groove, stoner, kind of a feel. They are not heavy metal. They are they want to hit you with some powerful solos. They remind me a lot of more of the mellow Queens of the Stone Age, but they've also got their stoner style that they do as well. And it's very groovy. It's very catchy. It's very poppy. I like it a lot. Poppy is the wrong word. It's very upbeat. I really like their sound a lot, and I love those guys to death. Some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet too. I've worked with them a couple times, and they've crashed here on multiple tours. So they're just really awesome dudes. If you've never heard them, go check them out. Salem's Bend, I absolutely love them. Balthazar is probably one of my favorite songs by them, and that's one of the ones that I first found them on. So really good.
That's
band.
the first one you sent to me.
Yeah. So, but okay, well, cool. With that being said, that's who you reppin'. Let's give you guys a chance. Is there any final words you guys want to give to everybody?
Feel free to check us out on all major platforms. We've got new music out still, and we released, I don't even know, 6 or 7 or so songs during COVID when it was at its worst.
Keep in mind, their link will be in the description down below us here, and if you guys have a new album coming, follow them, so make sure you see it.
Peace and love.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the love and support too. We've been getting likes and follows, so it's really amazing.
Everyone.
Yeah. Hopefully we can make somebody's day with our music. That would mean a lot to us. But
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, awesome. Thank you guys for joining us today. And like I said, we'll get some links in there so that way everybody can follow your pages and see what's going on with you guys.
And then what's the song we're going to be playing during the outro? Give us a quick rundown on that one.
One Tap.
Oh, One Tap.
Yeah. So what's One Tap about?
Well, that's the one that they were talking about where they'd been separated for 6 months and then there was the riots going on outside. And
yeah, so it's basically, it's just a song about how COVID was going and the riots and everything and how it feels to try to get your message across. It's basically like it's one tap. Like it sucks. It's like I'd rather be gone than not here right now because of how awful this is.
no.
So it's a like he said, it's a raw message. It's just right there in your face. Mm-hmm. But it's catchy.
Well, that'll be our outro.
Yeah, that will be our outro.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, what you got? Any final words?
Just the same thing I said last time. Support your local venues, support your local promoters, support your local bands. Let them know if they make your day.
Yeah. And keep going out and supporting live music.
Yep.
Because we don't know where this pandemic round 2 is going. Get out there and support absolutely as much as you can right now. It means the world. But with that being said, I am just grateful to be joined by you gentlemen today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad I got to finally nerd out on an episode. That made me happy.
Right.
That makes me happy. It really does.
Hope to hear from that guy in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyler? Yeah. Oh, he'll be in the comments. Don't you worry.
All right.
But with that being said, I am Blaine, a.k.a. Papa Bear. To my left is Johnny fucking Mango.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. And to my right, we've got Dave and Blake from Playing with Giants. Thank you, everybody, again for joining us on this episode. Until next time, much love.
I'm seeing my surroundings biting their tongue. This disease keeps on scorching even the love. We must have cracked every mirror with all of this bad luck. It's past out, it's been clearer, we're just two